Hi and welcome to this video. My name is Adela. This week I'm just going to be hopping back into some projects and trying some new recipes that I've had on my mind for a while, but just haven't had the energy to actually execute. This season of life has slowed me down quite a bit, but if you're new here, I love sharing ways to bring creativity and intention into everyday life and motherhood, so I hope you stick around. Well, let's jump right into the first recipe. We're going to be making some refrigerator jam, which is just a quick and easy way to make jam without having to can or preserve it, which is great for me because I don't have a lot of space to store canned goods. Anyways, it's super easy. All you have to do is get some berries, fresh or frozen. I'm using frozen, add some sugar, a little bit of lemon juice, and I think it called for like a pinch of salt. In a bit of water, and just reduce it down, kind of mash the berries as well as possible and let it sit on low for a while until the jam like sticks to the back of a spoon, and then as it cools you'll notice it turns into more of a jam than a liquid. If you need to cook it down more you can, but it's pretty easy to tell when it is done. And then you can just jar it up and throw it in the fridge and use it whenever you want. This probably will expire, but it lasts quite a while for us and we are able to get through it before it even starts going bad. Okay, I know it is like the middle of winter, but here in San Diego we've had 75 to 82 degree weather, and I had been craving an acai bowl, and it kind of feels like spring and summer here right now, more like summer. So I wanted some homemade granola to top it off with. I don't know if this is just a California thing. I think they're kind of big everywhere now, but it's basically just a smoothie bowl with a bunch of toppings on it. My favorite toppings are granola, hemp seeds, honey, banana, berries, and mango, all the tropical and fruit and berries on top. One of our local places even puts bee pollen on top and it gives it like the perfect crunch, which I really want to get some at Sprouts, but it's quite pricey, but has some great health benefits. So I think in the summer we'll pull the trigger on that when we're making more and more smoothies. I haven't found a granola recipe that I absolutely love, so I'm not going to share this recipe until I find a good one or until I make it perfect. But it is so hard to find granola recipes out there, so if you have one that you like, please let me know. And to make a smoothie bowl, basically you just make a smoothie, put it in a Tupperware that you can put in the freezer, and then once it has set in the freezer, you can scoop it out with an ice cream scoop and put it in a bowl, throw the toppings on. It's delicious. This next one is a project I have been wanting to finish for quite a while. It's an alphabet chart that I made for our homeschool area, but I haven't actually sewn down the letters. So it's been hanging in our homeschool corner for months just with pins holding in the letters, so I just want to finally finish stitching them on with a machine, and then I want to hand embroider like an outline over each of the letters, which sounds very ambitious right now, but I'm not like in a rush to finish this project completely, but I do want to get the letters stitched on. So that's what I kind of worked on this day. and as I'm recording this voiceover, I didn't actually finish that day, so I have a few more rows of letters to stitch on. It's quite tedious because the letters are pretty small and kind of have to turn constantly with the shape of the letters, but I did get to work on that this week and that felt very, very nice. I was hoping to finish this stitching up on our break from homeschool because this chart really does come in handy for the kids, especially my oldest, as she's like trying to write words out and she wants to like visually see the letter. It's just nice to have the chart up. It was so cute. She made a like temporary one and copied down the alphabet so that she can look at it and just tacked it to the wall. I thought it was really sweet, and it was sweet to know that it's something that's taking so much work is actually getting some use. The next morning I ate some toast with butter and jam and used the homemade jam, and I highly recommend I think it's like a 3-berry medley of frozen berries from Trader Joe's. It is delicious. That same day, I wanted to tackle another sewing project that I've had in mind. I found out that I'm pregnant like 3.5 months ago, so I wanted to make some clothing that'll grow with me as the next few months go on, and I have these pair of linen shorts that I really like. They have a stretchy waistband, so I wanted to recreate that, and I made my own sewing pattern. Basically, I haven't even sewed them together yet, but this day I just did all the prep work. I traced down the patterns, left some room for the seam allowance, basically just the area that I'm gonna sew on, and made sure that the pattern actually made sense. So I looked up a few videos. I'm gonna be sewing those this next week, and I'm really hoping they turn out. This is something that I've been wanting to try for a while, is just making my own pattern from clothes, specifically shorts and pants. The kids just played in the yard for like 2.5 to 3 hours while I did this. It took quite a while. Earlier this week, though, I planted and started some seeds because the weather has been so nice. I feel like our garden has been behind like a month and a half or two the last few years, so I wanted to get a little bit of a head start to see if that helped at all. In the fall, I planted some pansies. They are edible flowers and they are beautiful. And I saw one on the floor this morning, so I picked it up, washed it, and I'm pressing it in one of my books to hopefully use for something beautiful. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out here today, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.